Kethevane Gorjestani in Washington. Kethevane, what exactly is this hearing about?
Well, at the heart of this hearing over content moderation really is the future of Section 230. This is a rule that has really shielded these companies from any potential lawsuit. To put it simply, basically, it shields them from liability for keeping content on their platforms or for deciding to remove that content. And so it allows them to really not be liable for what people post on their platforms. But of course, as everything here in Washington these days, it's very divided over how the parties are seeing these hearings. For the Republican, this is something they call a double standard. They feel like these social media companies are using Section 230 to have an anti-conservative bias, and so they need to be put in check. They need to stop what some Republicans call a free pass for these companies, while Democrats are saying that any curtailing of Section 230 would likely prevent these companies from continuing with their recent efforts to try to control the spread of misinformation, of disinformation, of fake news, and of hate speech. The three companies, Google, Facebook, Twitter, all three CEOs really insisting that Section 230 is really important for them and for their survival, but also that it is a protection for freedom of speech and freedom of the press. And if they do away with Section 230, it will be to the detriment of freedom of speech, because they will have to be taking down more content in order to shield themselves from these lawsuits.
And Kethevane, how does this hearing fit in within the context of the elections next Tuesday?
Well, these social media companies were bracing themselves for the spread of and the increased spread of misinformation ahead of this election, because they remember what happened in 2016. They remember how criticized they were for not dealing, for not trying to contain the spread of this misinformation. And so they've taken steps to try to reduce the spread of these fake news elements. And as we get closer to the election, Republicans especially have been really attacking them for having a bias against conservatives and for targeting more conservative content than liberal content. And it has come back to the forefront really with that story in the New York Post about alleged dealings by Hunter Biden in Ukraine that the New York Post called a smoking gun that came from alleged emails that were potentially hacked or maybe not. And so Facebook and Twitter decided to try to reduce the spread of that article and the subsequent articles. And so they blocked retweets, they blocked some of the links, they even suspended some accounts, including the Trump campaign and the White House press secretary's personal account. And the conservatives, of course, attacked them for doing that, saying they were preventing conservative speech from being spread. But these social media companies are saying that they're doing that because those articles were going against their rules, either on spreading hacked material or on the spread of fake news. But of course, as we get to the election and beyond, because this is going to keep going once we start getting the results, they're trying to really control what people get so as to keep democracy going the best it can. That's at least what they're saying they're trying to do.